You've been getting letters from builders in the mail for years. Should you just sell to them? So in this video, we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of selling to builder on market, off market, just selling your home off market, and lastly, just putting your house on market kind of like everybody else does. First and foremost, you may have just gotten a letter in the mail from a builder. What are they trying to do? The bottom line is your land is probably worth more than your house. So there's parts of our area in Kirkland where the land itself is worth 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. We're talking about millions of dollars. And a builder knows that. They can tear down your house and pay 1.2 million and build a $3.5 million home and make $1 million of profit. That's why a builder wants to buy your home. It doesn't matter if it's on market to them or off market to them. Builders at times it's a great idea if you're working with a builder. It can be less stressful. It could be more cash up front and quicker. And you might not even need to empty out your house. So those are pros. The cons might be are you getting the price that you want? Are you getting the price that your family deserves for your house? Are you hitting that type price? To me, that's the biggest one that you need to consider. When you're prepping your home and if you're gonna sell it on market to a builder, you don't really need to change anything. You could have your house full of stuff. Same with off market. So a builder's gonna come through and look at your home and say, you're on a 8 or 10,000 square foot lot. We could fit a 4,000 square foot home. And I know this all sounds big depending on what areas you live in, but that's what builders in our area are thinking about, how much profit they can make from the dirt that you own. So you might be wondering, what's the difference if you're talking to a builder, if they're gonna buy it on market or off market? So off market to a builder means they kind of have all the control. And let me explain why. I was actually working with a client, this is probably 7 years ago. Oh man, I'm meeting with her today actually. And we had an offer from a builder off market and they said, we'll pay $800,000. So they went through all their due diligence and spent a couple of months, meaning they're looking at the size of the lot, what kind of home they can fit on there, they're testing the soil, they're doing all the stuff that a builder needs to do. Then they came back and said, you know what? We actually want to pay you less. Instead of paying you $800,000, we want to pay you $700,000. So builders have some control when it's off market. On market, the benefit would be those builders are going to see it anyways. But additionally, you're going to have anybody who's an end user, so just a normal home buyer that might say, I want to build a house here. I didn't know that lots were for sale. And they may end up paying more than a builder. A builder might say, hey, we'll give you cash in 6 weeks for $1 million. A buyer might say, we're gonna get financed, so we need a loan, but we'll give you $1.1 million in 7 weeks. And you have to decide whether it's easier to go with the builder's offer or a financed offer from an end user or somebody who's gonna actually build their home. So there are pros and cons of each. Again, like I mentioned this before, one of the pros of going with a builder is you can kind of do whatever you want. Right? They may even let you sit in your house for another 6 months. And some builders, and this is really actually interesting if you're gonna work with them, may say, hey, I'll give you $1 million if you sell your house to us. I'll let you live in the house for 6 months, but I'll give you $1 million, but I'm gonna wait 6 months to give it to you. You don't get all that money for 6 months so we can do all of our due diligence with the city that they live in to get all their permits and all that kind of stuff. They may also say, well, if you want your money sooner, I'll give you $900,000. I'll give you in 6 weeks or 10 weeks, we'll give you $900,000. Another option they might say is, and they'll give you maybe give you these choices, is if you wait a year, we'll give you an extra $50,000. So instead of $1 million, we'll give you $1.05 million. And you have to decide if that's worth it. The challenge would be the deal may not go through. Builders are always gonna look for the profit. They have walked away from $10 or $20 or $30,000 because if the market changes, and you waited a year, and even if they let you sit in there for a year and paid for some of your expenses, in the future, you are at risk if that home is actually gonna close. So figuring out what's beneficial to you is a real big deal. Another option, obviously, is selling your home on market. Now, that is something that I do with my day job, help clients all the time sell their homes on market. And what does that entail? And realistically, is it worth it versus selling your home to a builder? If it's a home that either needs a lot of work or may actually be torn down. So of course an option is selling your house on market. It's what we work with clients every day doing. And if your home is a home that could be torn down or actually remodeled, it's something you really should consider. So now putting your house on the market, one, obviously takes a little bit more work. So if you need any work done on the home, it could be cosmetic, paint, flooring, roof, landscaping, any of the stuff that you've lived in your house and you're like, God, we need to do all this stuff. So one, it could take a little bit longer, but I will say like a good real estate team that will help manage all that stuff for you can probably get a lot of that stuff done within a month. So all the work that needs to be done. But almost more importantly is, the question is, are you gonna get more money if you put it on the market? And I think meeting with somebody who's a professional can absolutely let you know that, a real estate professional. So they might say, and we talk to our clients about this all the time, they might say, if you put in new countertops and you put a new vanity and new flooring in your primary bathroom, you could probably increase the value of your home to, let's say, $700,000. And is it worth it for you to do that if you can sell it for $700,000 with a little bit of work, and you might be living in there and you need to stage your home to make it look beautiful for $700,000? Or do you want to say, hey, like, it doesn't matter to me, I would take $625,000 from a builder, I don't want to live through all that stuff? And that's a real personal choice. So knowing that either A, you need to live through some of the stuff that can be painful when you're living in your house, or obviously you can move out of the house if you can afford it. Or I want to say take the easy way out. Take another way out by saying, I don't have to do all that stuff and I'm going to sell my house anyways, but I might just get a little bit less. Why would you sell your home off market if you'll likely make less money? You know, one might just be the privacy. You know, it may be just that you don't want anybody to know. The other one might be just convenience. Convenience of not having to do all the work in your home, not having to worry about anything, not having handyman in and out. That may be really important to you. So if those things are important to you, selling off market might be a really important thing. So if you value privacy and convenience, that might be a really good option. But if you're like a lot of people that we know and you value like getting top dollar and making sure everybody sees your house so you can get that top dollar, that might be the best option for you by putting it on the market. So selling off market obviously brings some challenges. The biggest one is a smaller buyer pool. Less people will know, and if less people know, brings up the other big challenge, you may be leaving a lot of money on the table. So to recap, selling to builder can be easy. It can be quick, but you might get less money. Selling on market means more prep work, everybody will know about it, and you'll probably get more money. Selling off market, not many people are gonna see your home, but it may be the easiest thing for you and your family. Selling off market, you're gonna get privacy, it's gonna be convenient, but you know, on the flip side, you may not get as much money as you were hoping for. All of these options can work for you. It's really what's best for you and your family. So if you have any questions about this, on market, off market, for a builder, reach out to me anytime. I would love to answer your questions.